cannot simultaneously say that, you know, Miley Cyrus is a shitty artist, but actually like a couple of her songs. Okay. So instead you say, Miley Cyrus, she's got a few good songs. Okay. Well, what we do in coherency is we try to make that correction. Okay. And we want to do that in different ways. So one of the reasons why it's important to talk about possible selves, ideal selves, real selves, goals, ambitions, interests, and desires is so we can actually pay attention and calibrate. So when we're in our 40 plus, we're not all of a sudden going, wait a minute, I didn't want this, right? If we have a reflective practice in our life, that gap's never going to get that big. Now, just like any motivational strategy, what we want is we want that ideal self to be just outside our zone of proximal development. We want it to be something just like with flow. Remember when we talked about flow, how we wanted to have tasks that were challenging and engaging and just outside of our developmental competency, so we stayed striving towards them? We don't want the ideal to be right there. We want to stay striving. We want to be working towards that. Whether it's getting better at working at motorcycles or being able to hike longer, further, maybe it's to write better, right? We always want to be working towards something. It's in our human nature, okay? Even people who are retired are still working towards something, whether it's the care and well-being of themselves and just maintaining, right? Self-care takes on a whole different perspective. Or if they're just, you know, wanting to maintain their space. That's something that we're still working towards. And research is really strong is that people who have a discrepancy, right, okay, and work to correct it, end up having a greater well-being and a better quality of life. And of course, influencing overall happiness and facilitating flow and flourishing. So I want to be mindful of time, staying mindful of time. So what I want you to do is if you're in our classroom, oh, come on. You're in our classroom, I want you to go ahead and put on Zoom, get your headphones in. And for those of you that are Zooming in, I don't have any chats, so it doesn't look like I'm missing too much. I'm going to stop sharing that screen and I'm going to share a different screen, this one. I'm going to have you listen to this 10-minute, 19-second visualization. Now, it's not a meditation, it's a visualization. And I want you to have your notebooks out, and I want you to have your notebooks out because the less distracted you are, right? What you want is you want to be in this visualization. You want to stay in that contemplative state as you write about what you discovered. Okay? You want to stay in that contemplative state so you can write about what you discovered. So have your notebook out, have your pen ready. Or if you're going to take your notes on your laptop, that's fine as well, but just be intentional with that. And much like all of our visualizations, right, you want to be comfortable. You want to have both feet on the ground. You want to have your back resting comfortably. Importantly, you also, for those of you at home, you don't want to be laying down in your bed. That is just too easy to succumb to sleep. So stay aware, okay, and stay engaged. Okay, here we go.
So take a moment to get comfortable seated, kind of shifting around, and allow your weight to drop into the chair, into the cushion. And then as you allow your eyes to close, just mentally picture yourself, and we're going to start a journey into the future. So as you're ready, feel yourself almost like you leave your body and then look back at yourself as you sit. So now your consciousness, you've left your body, so to speak, and as you look back at your seated form, notice the clothes you're wearing. Notice the position that your body is in. Observe the curvature of your spine. And without judgment, just externally looking at yourself from this floating space above you off to the side. And find gratitude for yourself and feel and imagine that you're moving 6 months into the future, half a year into the future. We're going to imagine one day in your future, and this is your ideal day, creating your future, meeting your future self. As you're visualizing your ideal day 6 months into the future, I'll ask some questions and they'll just be prompts so that you can begin visualizing, picking and choosing from a billion and unlimited number of options. And allow your dreams to take you wherever they are. And what you wish for today may be different from yesterday, may be different from tomorrow. So just allow yourself to tap into what you truly desire your future to be today. 6 months from today, where do you wake up? What do your surroundings look like? What does the space you are waking up in look like? A bedroom, a home, a tent, whatever it may be. And how do you feel as you're waking up? What are the feelings? What are the immediate thoughts that you have in your head on this ideal day of yours? And when you wake up, then what does your morning routine look like? Is it drinking tea and coffee alone on a patio? Is it moving right into an activity? Is it running? What does your ideal morning routine look like? And how do you spend the first hours of your day? When do you begin your workday? And where are you working? What is this ideal job? What is this career? What is this thing that you spend your day doing? And what do those surroundings look like? Is it an office environment? Is it out in the middle of the woods? Is it in the ocean? Is it in space? Is it in an urban environment, a rural environment? What is your career on this ideal day? And who are your coworkers? Who are the people that you spend your day with? What are they like? And how is your relationship? How often do you talk with them? How do you communicate with them? Is it in person or is it via the internet, telephone? And what skills or what What skill set are you using during your working day? Is it writing, editing? Is it mechanical work? Is it using scalpels or a paintbrush? What skills are you using? What kind of conversations happen through your workday? And how do you feel in this ideal working environment? What are the feelings and the emotions that you have through your working day? And as you're thinking about your schedule, your day, what would you do for lunch? The midday meal. Is it a long leisurely lunch? Is it a short quick lunch? Do you cook? Do you go out? Are you alone? Are you with friends or coworkers? And after the midday meal, what do you do with your afternoons? Do you go back to work? Wherever that is, doing whatever that is with whomever that was? Or how do you spend your afternoons? Is it a different kind of outing? What are you working on or what are you playing with? How do you feel after lunch, after the midday meal, as you enter the rest of your day? And then as afternoon turns into evening, what do you do with this part of your day? What does your ideal schedule look like? Is this the right time for you to move your body and exercise or meditate? Do you meet friends? Do you start making a meal or do you start going out for a meal? And again, who are you spending this time with? Is it alone? Is it with friends? Is it with children? Is it with grandparents? Is it with strangers? On your ideal day, 6 months into the future, what does your evening look like? And after the meal, what happens then? How do you unwind and what is your routine before you return back into your bed or your tent or your camper? How would you describe the feelings that you have with this day? How do you feel? Is it fulfilled, creative, at home, peaceful, energized, excited, awakened? Take some time to fully explore how you feel through this day. Flesh out the details, the schedule, flesh out the people you're with, the space that you call home, maybe the clothing you wear, the activities that you do for recreation, for creativity, for learning. For the next minute or two, meditating on this ideal day 6 months into the future.
Stay in your place of contemplation if you can. Just holding that in your mind's eye. And when you are ready, feel free to write out as much as you can recall from the visualization. Okay, when you are done with that, please submit that in the week 6 folder under the participation for today. You can just take a quick picture of it, just like we did last time, and submit that. Just whatever you wrote, whatever you came to. If you typed something out on the computer, please feel free to copy and paste that. Anything that would provide me with a touchstone of your experience with the visualization. At the bottom of the content in week 6, participation 9.28, which is today.
just supposed to be reflecting on the meditation? We couldn't hear you through the Zoom.
Yes. So just writing out your reflection from them. Can you hear me now, Olivia?
Yeah, none of us could hear you, so we were all asking in the chat, but you didn't see it.
So, oh, no, I did not see that. Yes. We are, just writing a reflection and then submitting that through the participation link in the week 6 folder. Thank you, Olivia. And I'm surprised I actually heard your voice. I normally don't hear you guys speak because it's so bad in here. Okay, for those of you that were zooming in and maybe are a little late to the game, and getting that submitted. Again, that submission link is in the week 6 accomplishment folder down at the very bottom. It says participation 29.28. And I'm just gonna share my screen with you really quick just so you can see where that is. Week 6, bottom submission. And again, you can just submit a picture if that works for you, a JPEG, or if you want to copy and paste from something that you typed out on your computer, that works as well. I know that some of you got those instructions late on what you were supposed to be writing out, so feel free to keep doing that. You can put a pause on that. That's not due until 11:45, so you have until 11:45 to submit. I want to draw your attention to our week 7 folder. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping, and then I'm going to give you guys some time to get ready for your final real time while we're in here together. Now you have your curation project summation. You'll be bringing your journals in and submitting those. I have 2 here up front that belong to the students that did not come to class a few weeks ago when I had you submit them physically, or I reviewed them while we were in class. So there's 2 journals up here. If either one of these are yours and you're not physically in class today, I'll leave them outside my office. I emailed everybody that left them in my mailbox or at my office, and 2 people haven't picked theirs up yet. The curation project, summation curation, you're going to create a Flipgrid discussing the Google slide that you're creating for your final presentation, which I'm going to give you instructions on that here in just a minute. And then also in week 7 is our final. I want to take you guys on a little journey through that at this point. So if you are in your computer, go ahead and click into that. I do want you guys submitting questions here. This is what's going to empower and enable us to be effective, and I get to make sure that the assignment is written in such a way that students are empowered to complete it successfully. So, final assessment guide, it's worth 75 points. At the end of this development, students will have developed repetitive words there. Thank you, Dr. Henderson. And presented a clear understanding of their own experience of happiness through an analysis of the research and a synthesis of life experience with course content. The skills you're going to be working on are written presentation and oral presentations. Simple instructions is that there are 2 steps to this assessment, an essay and a presentation. The final essay must be submitted by Sunday night, October 4th, which is this coming Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Your objective is to demonstrate your evolving understanding of the art and science of happiness with a focus on your experience with the science and the process of the course. The skills, you're going to be building your ability to represent an internalization of content through an integration of personal experiences and factual/scientific knowledge. Instructions for the essay. The process of this course has placed you in a unique position to begin to address the science of your happiness and the content of your own experience and pursuit of happiness. This final essay will be your opportunity to provide a detailed analysis and synthesis of your experience. Side note, analysis means pulling things apart. Synthesis means bringing things together. And you'll see in the rubric how those two come together. In your pursuit, specifically, you should focus on how you're going to leverage the science that you now understand to improve your own well-being through a specific to you happiness practice, right? Or set of ideals. You should pull heavily from the journaling prompts that were given in class, and then also your gratitude exercise and the 3 good things that you did. Your inaction experiences, right, which you guys have done every week, and dialogues with your peers. Qualities of your analysis and synthesis that you should be striving towards or surpassing. The analysis of scientifically supported facts of science with at least 6 touch points with content from the course. Those readings, podcasts, and or videos, or anything that you can reference from the course. One of the ways that I count these 6 touch points is by your references, okay? If you're not sure how you want to, if I am fine with either APA or MLA citations, but you definitely are going to have a reference page for this. I'm actually going to include that instruction down here. And this is a live document, folks. We can change it as we go. Be sure to identify through citation when you are addressing a fact from course content. This is one of the ways that we get around plagiarism. We make sure that you give credit where credit is due, and it's also the ways that I can see where you're integrating science. Synthesis of the aforementioned fact with your own experience and pursuit of happiness. Be sure to provide nuanced examples that illustrate the analysis and integration with as much detail as possible so that the connections between the science and your experience are evident. Your text, which we didn't really have, but how about use the course content? Group interactions, journal prompts, write-ups, exercises, inactions, activities, anything that we've done in this class, okay? Anything under the sun. Submissions requirements, oh look, citations can include class content. That was the first one I had, I'll put that there. Page length, 3 pages max, double spaced, Times New Roman font, size 12. Essay format, which means introductory, body, and conclusion. And margins are set to 1/2 inch. That is your essay. Your presentation, which is 25 points, will be made in class on October 5th. If you're unable to attend class, you'll create a video presentation that we will view as a class. Since the Zoom audio does not work, that's our workaround. The objective of the presentation is to practice and utilize the skills of presenting orally for communication of your own ideas and thoughts. You guys have been practicing that every day you've been in this class. This is just an opportunity for you to demonstrate that skill. For your skills, you are developing the ability to find, organize, and evaluate information from multiple sources. You guys have been exposed to a lot of different content this semester in different modalities as well. We are learning in our science that the best information doesn't always show up in a journal because most people can't read a journal. That's why I provided you guys with a lot of content that has been synthesized, which means that somebody else has already had it, they've done something with it, and they've created a better understanding of it for you. Thinking critically, which means that you're going to be evaluating the content, right? Does this work? Does this not work? Is it a good fit for you? Could it be a good fit for others? Or do you think it's totally bogus? And then, of course, communicating effectively through oral instructions. Your presentation should outline the essential elements of your experience with science and your own pursuits detailed and illustrated in your essay. Obviously, since this is a 4-minute talk, it won't be you reading your essay. It definitely needs to be a Cliff Notes version, something that allows you to be succinct and engaging. These talks will be presented to your peers during class periods, listed on the schedule. I didn't list it on the schedule, I just during our last class period. Each person will give a 4-minute presentation, 4 minutes max. While some may appeal with humor, your presentation must be professional in language and appearance and to be highly effective. You want to develop a clear and well-supported message. Delivery is 50% of your grade and the visual backdrop of your presentation, which you guys are going to have some time today to work on. Deliverables, the visual backdrop, and then you're going to develop that one highly effective Google slide, and then of course your essay. So when you submit for your final, you are going to be submitting your essay and your Google slide. Okay, so that when we present, right? So if you're having to create this because you won't be able to be in class for whatever reason, you will submit your video presentation. And that is a good note for me to make to myself. I will update this instruction for submitting the final content. The rubric, analysis of the science, synthesis of experience in the science, presentation backdrop, and then presentation quality. Okay, there's the rubric. All of the content has been laid out. Since everybody here has the capacity to have this document open, walk through this on your own. If you have any questions, please type in a question. If you need some additional clarification, I will reply to that. Okay, and my goal is to have it completely set by this evening. So that's why I said that the final will be available by tonight, and I will let you know when it's finalized. Okay. Awesome. All right, so take some time to ask those questions, because Lord knows, right? I think that I create something that makes so much sense, but you know, it's missing some important content, and I trust that you guys will be able to find that out for me as well as for yourselves. So I'm bebopping back over to our presentation. That is a review of the final, which is due next week. The last thing I'm going to have you guys work on today is I want you to create a draft of your presentation. Okay? And this is a draft. I just want to physically be here in the space while you're pulling things together so you can ask questions. For those of you that are zooming in, we can navigate that. You can share your screen to me. You're going to create just a Google slide, just one. Okay. Using your bubble up content, I want you to develop a collage of your happiness. Okay. Using photos, using images. Don't use GIFs or videos. And if you want to, if music's very important, you could like put up a musical note and then write the song. But minimal text. The focus should be on the visual. And you'll be submitting this. No, you won't be submitting this for today's participation. That's what I thought you were going to do, but then I decided to have you submit your visualization. Okay, folks, questions about what you're doing right now? I have my chat open. Okay, so right now you're working on creating a Google slide. For those of you in this space, I'm going to go ahead and put on some music. For those of you that are zooming in, I'm going to stay here by the screen so I can see when you pop in for a chat, and you can share your screen to me then if you have any questions. All right, I'm going to be walking around, so you guys want to make sure that I'm available, because I know that this is right the wrap-up opportunity, and our time together is obviously, this is our last day before you need to be able to present this. I just got a great question in the chat about using Bubble Up. You need to curate your Bubble Up, which is part of this final week, right? Providing a Flipgrid posting using this Google slide. That's why I want you to use your Bubble Up. So this Google slide will be used in your presentation of curation. Okay, and then you'll just be able to use it for your final presentation. So you're creating the Google slide to fulfill your curation project summation. in the video that you're going to create on Flipgrid. And then you will also use that slide for your final presentation. So it's a 2-for-1 special, right? You're curating and then you're also submitting. Go ahead. No, for your final submission, you'll have your essay and you'll have your Google slide. And the Google slide should be primarily images, right? We will all understand what those mean to you because you'll be explaining those to us in the Flipgrid. The final presentation is just so you have a nice visual backdrop while you're presenting your content. And if during your presentation it's intuitive to you to refer to that, that's absolutely appropriate. Go ahead. So you're curating, which means that you're going through your bubble up, you're finding the things that truly are meaningful to you and carry a lot of weight. And when I say backdrop, when you're making your presentation in class, you will have your Google slide up here presenting as a visual. It's not something that you have to refer to, but it's there as sort of an encapsulation of your experience. And it gives us something visual because oftentimes if people just present orally, right, I could just have you get up and not do the poster, but then people get incredibly distracted because they don't have a visual to focus on. So completing the Google slide takes care of your curation. You'll do a Flipgrid with that. So for the Flipgrid, you'll use the Google slide. And you will orally present on the Flipgrid your breakdown of what you have from your bubble up on the Google slide. Yeah. Okay. Can you do it through your phone? I'm just thinking about your time and just wanting to make the best use of it. So you problem solve as much as. Yeah, you can open it on your phone. Yeah, there's a Google Slides app.